Dow component Microsoft reported a rise in quarterly profit, driven by demand for its cloud business.
When I first started messing around with computers, I was a Windows person. And even throughout my teenage years, I was using Windows. But when I started recently getting into cybersecurity and understanding how to trace packets, I quickly realized everything we do on a Windows machine is now being watched compared to old XP days. Take a look at this video from a YouTuber called PC Security Channel and what he discovered.
This is a clean laptop with absolutely nothing installed, being run for the first time. Yes, that's geolocation tracking, third-party sites, trusted source, msn.com, and reports on internet trends and behavior. Bing as well, even though again, I haven't conducted a search or anything like that. But of course, there's smartscreen.microsoft.com, because of course we need like 5 different URL filters. Privacy portal. Looks like privacy is not available.
So then I decided to keep going down this rabbit hole and, well, let's just say it's pretty bad.
When you use Outlook or Windows
Microsoft
11,
is stealing your
no, it's
data.
not
When
reading your
upgrading to
email,
Windows 11,
but it
you're
is looking at
probably
your
going to be
address,
selling
your favorite
directly to the
Facebook,
public.
not
upgraded to Windows
Microsoft's
11 yet.
There are
so many people still.
But, like every good horror film, it gets worse. Microsoft admits it cannot guarantee data sovereignty, basically saying that if a US admin wanted something, the US admin would get it, even if it's in, say, the French territory, so on and so forth. A user asked on Reddit, "What's the deal about Windows 11? Are my files private?" And we scroll down to AI_KL. If you're logged into a Microsoft account in Windows and the files are synced with OneDrive, then yes, Microsoft can and will access the contents of the files that are stored in the cloud to detect malware, CSAM, etc. Microsoft does collect telemetry, such as what programs you use, how you interact, and so on and so forth. The interesting, or funny part that I should say in regards to this entire post that was issued 21 days ago, right here. You should install Windows with a local account only. You can find guidelines how to do so. However, many workarounds are getting deliberately disabled by Microsoft. And then we go over here, and we see that this was, for example, 3 months ago. Microsoft is blocking all workarounds to create local accounts, removing local accounts from Windows 11. However, as he said right here, Microsoft at this point is no longer seeing Windows as an OS, but rather as an advertisement platform. It's something that's really interesting here, where essentially all your data is now being harvested and it's going into, whether it be AI, advertising, whatever it is to possibly get you to buy things. For those wondering, can I just block the telemetry that's going back and forth with Windows? And the short answer is yes and no. You can block it, but at the same time, they can just create something completely new, and then you have to figure out how to block that as well. If you head to subreddits such as r/privacy on Reddit, you'll see people going back and forth on, I can block it with Pi-hole, or no you can't, you can just block it on the firewall, or no you can't do that, you shouldn't trust Windows blocking Windows. And at the end of the day, as much as it sucks, it's right here. Get rid of Windows. Even the anti-telemetry programs and scripts are nowhere near 100%. So that basically means that as gamers, we're essentially screwed, because there's nothing that we can do genuinely to protect our privacy. And while people might say, oh, it's simple, just use a VPN, use this or use that, why would you use an operating system that you know other people have access to? People all the time say, oh, a company is a company is a company. It's completely separate. At the end of the day, people are running that company. Why do I want to allow them to have access? Why do I want them to have access to my computer? Why do I want them to be sending anything to my computer? And in the day of subscription-based models, like we're seeing everywhere, I think it's a matter of time before we're going to have to pay a subscription in order to be using our operating systems. Especially since RAM seems to be wanting to go to the moon right now in terms of the pricing. So now we're stuck. We can either go on Linux, where basically every other game that's a multiplayer game has an anti-cheat that's kernel level and doesn't allow us to play the game on Linux, or we play on Windows machines. Probably gonna honestly be switching over to Linux in terms of my main operating system here soon. I play games like Rust that I'm kind of nervous about in terms of maybe the anti-cheat might have difficulties with me, but it's just gotten to the point now where it's gotten ridiculous, especially with all the chaos going on in the world, and especially to do with AI and everything else. I'm starting to look into hardening my own networks and taking care of what I own. I think we've hit a really weird point in our lives where we don't see the threat, and so we don't care or think about the threat, but yet the threat is extremely real, and we're inviting it inside of our homes, just allowing it to do whatever it wants to do so long as it doesn't disturb us. We go on websites all the time nowadays, and we just hit accept all when it comes to cookies simply so it gets off of our screen. With some websites, when you hit decline, immediately make you go through a 2-minute process to be able to even properly deny all your cookies. And with the age verifications going around with AI getting involved for all these different countries and such, I really feel like right now is the time for us to make or break in terms of doing something. So, anyways, that's the video for today. And feel free to share this video with your friends because it helps me out tremendously. So, see ya.